Studios. Joining us now, Captain Criss Turnipseed, the Director of the Mississippi Highway Patrol Public Affairs Division. Captain, thanks for coming in.
Appreciate you having me, Gerard. Good to be here again.
I know you're busy rushing around, but we really appreciate you coming in today. So we wanted to talk to you about car seat and child safety, given this hot weather we got across the state of Mississippi. Are these some of the situations you guys are responding to? You seeing this happening?
Well, you hear more about heat-related stuff than we respond to. You see it on the news and those types of things. Just with kids and cars this time of year, I mean, that's always a dangerous situation. It is hot. I can testify to it being hot outside. Temperatures in the car get very hot, and something we always try to do is remind parents to use social media and other means to try to just always remind to look in your car, check your car, make sure that there's not a child in that back seat. But that's a dangerous situation. It's really something for some of us. It's kind of hard to comprehend. How a kid could be left in the car like that. But the situation happens. I think the national average is about 38. I think I saw 38 child deaths left in cars a year in the nation. So it's a very, very sad thing to even talk about. But those do happen. It is a real problem.
So what's the word? What's the message from the Highway Patrol? This is happening. It's mostly accidental, obviously, but it does happen.
It does happen, and it would in most cases. Most cases I've read and researched on it is something accidental. I was just doing some research this morning prior to this interview. I think 2019, I believe, was the latest instance here in Mississippi. If you look if you did like a Google search on it, I mean, there's been several this year in other states, and it's just like, it's littered. The pages are just littered with child deaths, and it's very heartbreaking to look at. A lot of us don't think, well, that's not a real possibility. That can never happen. Mm-hmm. But all you have to do is do a little research and find out how often that does happen. I mean, one's too much, but like I said, an average of 38 a year. I mean, that's sad, and we don't want something like that to happen. But we do try to remind. We work and try to put out reminders on that. Especially because a lot of times people don't realize how hot it does get in a car. And it gets very hot, and what the danger is and what the threat is to a young child. A child's body can overheat 3 times faster than an adult, and usually what they see in the cases of these child deaths in these hot cars is children die of asphyxiation in the car, which is just a horrible thing to try to think about. But we would like to draw attention to that. Put your children in your car seat. These rear facing car seats, you might look back there and see a car seat, but you can't see your child, and the child might be asleep or quiet. But just always double, triple check.
And a lot of the newer vehicles have warning systems and so forth to warn the driver that, hey, check the back seat, make sure. And there are other technologies, I think, that are available that aren't necessarily attached to the car, but they can detect when you get away from the seat. And
if you have an older car, an older vehicle, come up with some kind of reminder. Stick a note on the dashboard, something. I mean, do something, whatever it takes to give yourself a reminder to check on that. To check that back seat. And there have been cases and instances where younger children sneak into a car and the parents not aware of the child being there as well. So there's different situations and different scenarios, but none of them are pleasant to think about. And that's we want to avoid that for sure from happening.
So if a citizen captain comes across a vehicle and they notice that and they know there's stress going on there, what should they do?
They should go like in a store or they should contact someone in authority. They can make a phone call police. If you got a cell phone, you see you see a child sitting in a car that's not attended, call somebody to come there and try to. Of course, they're not going to try there. They're going to take care of that situation. Somebody can get there as soon as possible. I'm sure if they're in a store or something, they could probably make an announcement or something, but I would definitely call the authorities in a situation like that, because that would definitely be warranted, especially on these hot days. And it doesn't have to be, 120 degrees like it is outside right now for it to happen, especially if a child is dying of asphyxiation. That's pretty much suffocating in the car, because these cars are tight and they're sealed up really well. So, and you don't know how long they've been in there and how much air is left in there for what a child needs. So you see a child left unattended in a car anytime, you do need to call authority, let somebody know.
Yeah, and it's a bit, of course, secondary to human life, but it happens with pets too.
It does.
See it?
It does. That does. Haven't researched that as much, but that does happen, and that's not a good situation either. I mean, I love my dogs and want to take care of them too.
Absolutely. So we just got to be careful out there. That's the main thing. How are we doing on the roads? Other than that, a busy summer driving season. It is a busy summer driving season out there. We are, doing what we do 365 days a year, but this year has been, it's been probably a better year a little bit. Some of the numbers I've seen last year as far as what we work and what was reported to us. No official numbers yet, but we looked at them a few months ago. We were a little bit behind where we were last year in fatal crashes. Yeah. So people in Mississippi this year, I don't know if that's a trend, something we're doing, something they're doing better. Those numbers go up and down, but we've been, I wouldn't say pleased, because anytime there's not a satisfactory number of deaths other than zero, but the numbers were a little bit lower the last time I looked at them back in May compared to where they were last year. I just wonder how much of this can be attributed to just the modernization of vehicles. I know just in my personal vehicle, which is like 3 years old, there's all sorts of gadgets and technology that honestly, I think if prevented, especially in an SUV when you're backing up, it's really hard. And I'm careful, looking around. But that camera and those sensors that'll tell you when something is about to be collided with, that's pretty valuable. I just wonder how much of that is preventing. And those are little mishaps. They're not major crashes.
It's good. That's good stuff to have. A lot of that stuff, I've got some of that stuff in my own personal vehicle that prevents like slow. I don't have anything fancy, like a fancy car or anything, but back in collisions and stuff in parking lots and stuff. But out there on the road, and some of these cars now, have these lane departure systems and this stuff that'll steer you back into the lane when you cross over, and you come up behind a car, it'll apply the brakes for you and all of that. So there's some good technologies out there, and and even now, if you get in your car and you hook it, you connect your phone to the Bluetooth. A lot of times it will, it won't let text messages and stuff where you can hear it, so it's not something to distract you. But like I said, don't take but a second to look at something or look at whether it's technology or the radio or what it is. And you look down, you look up, and there's a log truck pulling out in front of it.
Exactly.
And so we still have to do our part, no matter what they put in the cars. The driver still does not negate the driver from their responsibility as well.
Absolutely. So I guess the next big busy weekend event on our highways is Labor Day. Would that be right? It is Labor Day.
It seems like we were starting the summer Memorial Day like a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And now we're already looking toward Labor Day, which is going to end the summer. School is getting ready to start back up, and my kids are getting ready, looking for clothes for school already. I'm like, man, that didn't last any time. Yeah. So we'll be back in our division, Public Affairs Division. We'll be back in the schools doing our driving safety programs. That's something we love to do. It's something we look forward to. So getting these young drivers ready out there. I got 2 young drivers myself. So I'm a nervous wreck every day as a father, as a dad, and not just just as a highway patrolman, but as a dad because there's a lot of dangers out there on these roads these days, and it's hard to let them go and just let them go out there because I see it all the time what's out there. It's probably harder for me to let them go out that door and get in that car and drive off than it is for a lot of people, because that's what I deal with and what I hear about and see on a day-to-day basis. But train them up right, and hopefully they'll do the right things out there when they're behind the wheel.
Right. Well, so we got that coming up, and what about drivers that traverse our state to come from other states? Got about a minute left. I mean, are you seeing an increase of that, an uptick of that, with folks getting out on the roads?
Not really an uptick. I mean, on your interstates you do. You see a lot of those. Sure. A lot of Tennessee tags, a lot of Louisiana. A lot of Texas tags around here too. But I wouldn't say it's an uptick, but it's a steady flow. It's a normal thing that we do see a lot of out-of-staters driving through Mississippi.
Well, as always, Captain, we appreciate the fine work of the men and women of the Mississippi Highway Patrol and helping to keep our roads safe. I know that's what it's all about, and we want people to drive safely and not get in these crashes, so we don't have to get you guys to work those deals.
100%, Jordan. I appreciate you giving us the platform to remind folks. That in their normal day, they might even think about it, but you give us the opportunity to remind folks how important driving is.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming in. And Criss Turnipseed, Director of Mississippi Highway Patrol Public Affairs, has been our guest. We'll be right back.